He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Hello everyone, and welcome once again to Bat Minute and Robin.
What a great start to the episode.
It's the podcast that is designed to heat a man's blood, cold-hearted and all. 1 minute at a time. I'm one of the hosts, Niall McGowan.
And here, the host who always throws a damn cool party. It is I, John Parker.
Oh, and here to discuss this probably one of my favorite minutes of the whole movie. This minute, weirdly enough, but we've got all the way from Middle Earth, the man who somehow got through the entirety of Lord of the Rings minute by minute and lived to tell the tale. It's Norm from Lord of the Rings Minute.
Hello, thanks for having me.
I'm still amazed you made it through that. Like, it's one of my favorite film series ever, but that's an undertaking.
It has like 640 episodes or so, maybe a little more than that.
Jesus.
And of course, did also do coverage, not in the same format, but did also do coverage of The Hobbit. So it's like, that in itself is a Herculean task to some.
Yeah, we're doing some Hobbit coverage on the Dueling Genre Patreon.
And coming soon, Silmarillion, page by page. No.
There is someone that just started doing a Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit sentence by sentence, I think.
That's insane to me. Like, I cannot see them finishing that.
I can't either. I can't imagine. There's 450,000 words in Lord of the Rings trilogy, so that must be at least, I don't know, 95,000 sentences.
Oh, and how much time are they going to be, spending talking about Tom Bombadil? I don't want to talk about him at the best of times. I'm not a Heretic fan.
I'm hurt.
But speaking of breaking things down, though, in that format, we're here today to specifically talk about minute 48 of Batman and Robin, which begins with a devilish duo discussing a diamond. And it ends a minute later with a gleeful giggle, which really warmed my heart personally, though, just how much fun Arnie's having in that car at the end of this minute.
I loved it.
Wouldn't you be?
Oh, yeah.
I don't think despite all the 4 hours of makeup and having to be screwed into the suit all the time and all that, it's like you can still tell Arnie's like, I'm having a great time. This is so much fun to get to do this.
I guess I never really thought before, but yeah, this costume must have been kind of a nightmare to get into and out of.
Oh, yeah. It was not easy. That makeup is, like, I don't think you notice really until you start getting higher quality versions of the film like this, The makeup on him is so intense. Like, it's got a glisten that you don't notice on VHS.
Yeah. It's got a real texture to it, too. Like, it looks like they added, like, sand or something to the makeup that's on him.
Yeah, it's like gritty.
Yeah.
I keep saying it just reminds me of the diamond cream from Arrested Development.
Yes.
So it just reminds me of Tobias covered in diamond cream.
So now we need someone to Photoshop Tobias in the Mr. Freeze suit.
Yeah. I think it will be done by the time this episode airs, I assure you. But that's the thing, though, Norm, because obviously this is a very, very divisive movie. Where do you stand personally on Batman and Robin?
I actually have a lot of fond memories of this movie.
Yay. Oh, good. You're in the right camp.
I saw this movie when probably within about a year of it coming out when I was a kid, and I was just the right age that like I feel like I was the audience this movie was aimed at. And I've just kind of had a soft spot for it ever since. I love Arnold in this movie.
I love Arnold full stop.
Yeah, I'll watch him in anything pretty much.
It could be the biggest piece of crap ever, but if Arnold's in it, I'm there.
I think you might be the first, though, to come on from that perspective, because we've had loads of people on who have like, I saw it when I was a kid. I hate it. Yeah. But no one's come in and been like, it got me at the time, and like I never found there was a problem with it, quite frankly.
I have more of a problem with Bane than anything else in this movie.
I think it's even like a lot of people just have problems with Bane in general as a character. So I always got to give him a pass in this movie because it's like, well, it's just Bane. Who cares, But I'm sure there must be the hardcore Bane fans out there somewhere who are outraged by it.
The Bane heads.
Yeah. Bane stands.
Bane buddies.
Yeah, there you go.
I love it.
Although, so come in here though at the beginning of the minute, and Arnie's finishing his, his threat to Poison Ivy, like, hand over the Diamond Garden gal, or I'll turn you into mulch. This is a guy, fair play to him, like he saw her bit, and was just like, I'm going with it. Okay, we're doing a garden thing. I'll come up with 10 garden puns off the top of my head within the first sentence of meeting you.
That's how clever he is. He's a genius. Remember,
right?
Yeah, really rolls with the punches. This guy.
And why do you think he's threatening her, though? Because my interpretation was, like, he's threatening her because he is threatened. From his point of view, much like from her point of view, as we've previously mentioned, he's thinking, this was my gig, lady. Scram. They both think...
that's probably about right.
Yeah, they both think this is my heist. You've ruined it. But they're also intrigued, like, this person's kind of interesting.
Well, I'm surprised he stopped to do this little. Do you think he'd just go up with the freeze ray, just freeze her, and be like, right, yank, take that off, see ya, and then it'd be gone again?
It's the sexiness. I don't mean that in like a pervy way. I mean, like, that is, you can't harm her almost because she's too perfect.
There's Uma Thurman. Come on.
Yeah.
Of course, then Ivy brings out her trusty pheromone dust, and this is. I don't know why I love this so much, but this whole little interaction of her blowing it in his face and him just been like, pheromone dust designed to heat the man's blood. Doesn't work on the cold-hearted. It just brings so much joy of just like just how abruptly he switches modes into it. And the fact that it doesn't make any sense either. It's
I don't think he means literally because he's cold.
I think it's exactly what he means.
I think that's the joke. I think because he doesn't feel emotion anymore. He only has emotion for one person.
I think you can see it though, as it swirls around his head, the pink dust turns blue, as if he is literally immune to it. It's adapted to his aura. So it's like, it literally will. I am too cold-hearted. It will not work on me.
Right. I mean, that's just in keeping with like the Bruce Timm Mr. Freeze, just like he's emotionless.
Yeah.
I think it's a nice little workaround, though, they did with... Because classically, Mr. Freeze would have, like, a dome around his head. So in other costumes, it would have been like, there's a filter in his suit that didn't allow it to get in or something. But they're like, Arnie doesn't have that. What can we do? Doesn't work in the cold-hearted. And that's fine.
I loved that.
How about I make another pun? Does that work? Can I just make another pun?
That gets you out of anything. It's fine. It's fine. I really like that detail, though, because, like, to me, it reminded me of the mind trick not working on Jabba.
You're using the old pheromone dust trick.
Yeah. And to me, I thought, well, this guy's body, because of what's happened to him, is so messed up that he basically can't get horny. It's the way I interpreted it.
Oh, his passion burns for his bride alone.
Yeah, and it's almost like not in a sexual way anymore. Like, I don't think he feels sexual feelings anymore. He's like a nice man.
Oh. This whole interaction, like, I even made a meme a long time ago. I'll repost it, but it was the Simpsons meme of Homer in the bathtub and Bart behind him about to hit him with the chair.
Yeah.
And it was Ivy was Homer going like spraying pheromone dust, and the chair was doesn't work on the cold heart. I don't know why. I don't know why it brings me so much joy.
It clearly brings Arnie joy.
Oh yeah. Not just Arnie, like as in his character as Mr. Freeze, but Arnie as a human being, as a man.
Oh, it's a great. If I got to deliver this dialogue, I'd be like, oh, this is the greatest job in the world. Although it opens up an intriguing potential bit of backstory to what's going on with Freeze and Ivy here, because I think we were talking in previous weeks, like, where does the pheromone dust come from? Like, when she's birthed as Poison Ivy, she's surrounded by all this pink smoke and stuff. It's like, is that the pheromone dust? Is it a naturally occurring thing that just excretes from her body? Or is it something she has to mix with the thing in her palm? But now my headcanon is that Mr. Freeze is a man who's obviously in this particular medical condition where he can't survive, degrees above 50 below. And so he probably has tried to cure himself of this. And he probably was doing experimentations potentially with pheromone dust to heat up his own body again. And so that's why when she sprays it, he instantly recognizes what it is. And he's like, he smells it and he's like, pheromone dust designed to heat a man's blood. Doesn't work in the cold-hearted though, because he's like, I've tried. I've been there. So, and then that would also indicate that Ivy maybe didn't even create this pheromone dust. It's like, oh, this is a thing that people in the scientific community already are aware of. Maybe she's just heightened it to the point of like, I can use it for mass seduction.
Okay. I'm intrigued because to me, I think I've brought this up. To me, it just comes out of her body now. That's how I see it.
She uses Attract, the Pokemon move.
Oh my God. We need a Pokemon-style Batman game. Oh, my word.
I suppose you could to catch all of Arkham's criminals. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's amazing. That's perfect. You could even be a villain, and you're gathering other villains. Oh, my God. Right, we're making this. Now learn programming. Quick. But, yeah, so it's coming out of her body to me. But I do like the idea that he has tried to do a similar thing himself. That's pretty cool. And I find the whole interaction between them absolutely fascinating here. And his facial expression when it goes into his face, to me, is like he's using his scientific skills to deduce what this is. He's like, I know what that is. I know those scents.
But with the pheromone dust turned out not to work at all. I do love Ivy's expression of just like, what the hell? Like, she is properly, as a character who, ironically herself, never loses her cool. This seems to actually have her shooketh a little bit of like, oh my God, what am I going to do? This was my one card I had against this guy.
Right? You're going to have to seduce him the old-fashioned way there, Ivy.
Well, she won't have much trouble with that, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like the way, when he wants the jewels back off her, and she relents and lets him have them, the way she does it and lets him take them, I'm not going to lie, it's very sexy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just the little lean, and like she makes him take them.
Yeah, it's kind of like her getting face back as well, because she's not like, scurrying to get it off her neck. It's more like, oh crap, this guy's got one up on me. But then like, oh, so give me the diamond. And she's just like, leaning forward like, if you insist. Like, I'm not going to have any dignity robbed of me in this scenario.
Yeah, it's like, come and get it.
Yeah, it's more of a, like, I concede to this minor defeat, but like, this ain't over, buddy boy.
I actually, her attraction to him, I don't mean in a sexual way, but I mean, there is a little bit of that. But her attraction to him, I think should be sort of played, like the way she's got Bane. It's almost like she wants to replace Bane with this guy. I think they should lean into that a little bit more. Bane gets jealous.
Full-on Palpatine thing of just like, okay, I got this one apprentice. Yeah. Ooh, look at this new apprentice I could have.
Well, because he's got the power of Bane, but let's be honest, he's a bit smarter.
Yeah.
Well, do you think for her purposes, though, Bane would be ideal? Because it's like, he doesn't ask any questions. This guy, she can't control. So it's like, well, I could have a guy who's crazy strong, but I can't use my dust on. Or
that's the allure. Yeah. He's dangerous.
Exactly. He's the bad boy.
Yeah. Should also note, though, that just the idea of the Poison Ivy's pheromones not working on someone, trying to look into this in comic lore and whatnot. And surprisingly, this hasn't come up all that much. Like, there's no mention of Mr. Freeze being immune to her in any way. But there's been interesting discussions in recent times because in 2018, there was a comic arc called Everybody Loves Ivy. And basically, it was that Poison Ivy took over the world by just taking over everyone. She used her pheromones to literally take over everyone's mind. So she controlled Superman, she controlled Wonder Woman, she controlled Gorilla Grodd. She got everybody except Batman and Catwoman, who just managed at the very last second to like inject themselves with the a cure that was, because then Ivy modified what she was doing, so they couldn't just go and cure everybody else. And
that's someone that I want in a live action Batman movie is Gorilla Grodd.
Oh yeah, we almost got it friggin' in the last week with the pink gorilla doing the striptease.
Oh yeah. Was that a nod? Do you think to Gorilla Grodd?
A nod to Grodd.
Oh. Grodd nod.
It's a Grodd nod.
That sounds like an old ale from like the 1800s. Grognod.
I thought it sounded like some kind of illness. I've got the Grognod. Like Victorian sort of ailment.
That's what they call
Just a bit of the Grodd.
Yeah, or could it be a Victorian hangover? Like, oh man, I got the Grognod.
Or even better than Victorian, actually, medieval. Because, you know, they had weird medical things there, believing in the humours and whatnot.
Yeah. It took me ages too. It's more of an American thing, but the vapors.
Yeah,
the vapors. That's what it essentially means to be hungover. It's like, oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
I'll start using that myself.
Because we're hungover pretty much every day. So.
Right, yeah.
I mean,
but
we are in England and one of us is Irish. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But that did lead to the discussion, though, of... Because, like, well, everyone would assume that poison ivy's pheromones are, like, natural, you know, or chemical or whatnot. But the fact that Superman was won over indicates that, like, well, Superman's immune to all toxins and stuff, but he's not immune to magic. And poison ivy, it does derive her powers from the green, which is, like, this ethereal plane that's, like, you know, like a kind of psychic link between all the plant life in the world, and she kind of dwells in there sometimes. So it is kind of going like, so is poison ivy magic then? Is that what the powers are? Or what the hell's going on with this lady?
Could she learn to control that better if she talked to a magician like Zatanna or Dr. Fate? Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah.
Maybe she's like, I took over 7.6 billion people at the same time. Who do I need to learn anything from?
Right?
Yeah. Although, actually, in referencing that Gorilla Grodd nod, as it were, last week, because that was, of course, Uma Thurman coming out to the song Poison Ivy, or a cover version thereof. But, you know, while we're still in that same scene, it would be remiss if I didn't mention that, of course, Uma Thurman has a song written about her that was quite popular. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Fall Out Boy single Uma Thurman.
I am not. No. Okay.
Yeah. Norm, are you a Fall Out Boy guy?
I'm familiar with the song. It uses the hook of the song is a sample of the theme from the 60s TV show The Munsters.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bit of a weird combo because, like, they did explain what it was about. They're like, oh, when we were just using that sample, and people kept thinking it sounded like Miserlou from Pulp Fiction. And then that went into discussions of Uma Thurman dancing, and then the chorus is she wants to dance like Uma Thurman, blah, 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 and all that kind of business. But it does have other kind of weird. I don't know if they're allusions to Uma Thurman's career or whatever, but like one of the lines is like, divide me down as small as I can be, put your venom in me. And it's like their whole thing in this is, you know, her powers that she got from Venom, you know, from Jason Woodrue and whatnot. So is that an allusion to her being Poison Ivy, or is it complete coincidence? Like, but yeah, just it of course, apparently Uma Thurman found it quite flattering that not only did they consider her, but they actually asked permission as well. Because she was like, most people will just go and do it without whether I want them to do it or not. So
yeah, you don't have to ask permission. It's just nice.
Right.
Yeah. Uma Thurman is also name-checked in a song I much prefer, because Fall Out Boy's not really my thing. Like,
No, same.
yeah, like I know people who used to be really into them, but I don't know, that kind of emo sound never appealed to me personally. But I don't know if you guys the artist Courtney Barnett.
I do not.
I know the name, but I don't know any of the songs.
Oh, she's great. She's like a kind of like a anxiety-riddled but laconic psychedelic pop poet.
I love her already.
Yeah, she said, and a lot of sort of acoustic numbers and stuff. But she had a song called "Avant Gardener," which again, friggin' Poison Ivy. Guess that's appropriate. That's all about her having an asthma attack and
relatable.
And the hospital the ambulance has to be called, and she has the line, I take adrenaline straight to the heart. I feel like Uma Thurman post-overdose and kickstart. I don't know if she asked Uma Thurman if that was okay to mention her in the song, but maybe that's what she was getting at. I was like, yeah, freaking Courtney Barnett, asshole, she never said anything to me. At least the Fall Out Boys came up and had the decency to be like, oh, maybe please use her name.
Well, there you go. Emos have credibility.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
But also should mention that song is from the album American Beauty / American Psycho. And, of course, American Psycho starred Christian Bale, who went on to play Batman. And also, the director of American Psycho was Mary Harron. and she directed the film The Notorious Betty Page. And Poison Ivy's physical likeness was originally based on Betty Page. So
I can't see
it's all
that.
connected.
I know that's a fact, right? But I can't see it.
I think it's like the very first, like literally like the first couple of appearances, and then afterwards it just went
Yeah,
off.
that makes more sense, yeah, because there's not a lot of Betty Page. Like, I know Betty Page, she was a sexy pinup, but there was a million of those. Like, Ivy doesn't look like Betty Page.
I think it's literally just the first couple of issues she has similar hair. I think that's about it. Like, they're like, she got the bangs. That's it. So, but look at this. So we got Mr. Freeze starting to, I was gonna say retreat. He's just leaving.
Oh yeah,
He got what he wanted. He's out of here.
I hate what he says. Right, I really hate it when he goes, "That's my exit cue." Thanks. Like this line doesn't work for me. It's not funny.
I assumed you were gonna have a beef with the line previous where he has that clever little Clover, which we had
I like
a beef
that
with.
because it's stupid.
No, this is because we had a beef with it last week though. Remember we kept saying that in the script and stuff, Ivy was batting back at him. So he'd come in with, you know, very like, oh, well, look at you. And it was all very condescending. But in the script, she's like, oh, piss off, Captain Cold and all that kind of stuff. But it seems like he's just relentlessly condescending to her.
Oh, he's a jerk, yeah.
Yeah. And so it's also like, well, why would she be attracted to him at all?
Because she likes the bad boys.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I guess they're saying she likes it. Maybe as a woman who can control whatever man she wants, when a guy she can't control is just a dick to her, she's like, I can fix him.
Sadly, that is a thing.
Yeah. Should also say too, because we know that she's gonna fall in love with him, and he, that diamond is called the Heart of Isis. He is literally stealing her heart in this minute as well. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With terrible dialogue.
Yeah.
It was the clever little Clover that really got her. Oh. She's like, I wasn't too sure until he called me a clever little Clover.
It sounds like an affectionate name you'd call your partner, doesn't it? My little Clover.
Yeah. My lucky Clover.
Yeah. I could see that being a romantic thing between them. And when she waves him goodbye as he does that weird little jump away, where does he go? I don't understand. But he jumps nowhere, disappears, and a little wave, right? She does that and then has a look on her face. It's very evident that she isn't giving up. This is the genesis of a plan and a team up. I don't think that's a spoiler alert because you can see it on her face. She's like, I need to get back in touch with this guy.
It's definitely got a vibe of this ain't over. But if she's not already hatching a plan to team up, it's very much like, I'm gonna get that diamond back, or like I'm gonna get this guy eventually. It's like, I like the challenge. Now that you presented me with a challenge.
Yeah.
I thought Batman was going to be my challenge, and he was easy as hell to get. So.
Yeah. She seduced Batman in 2 seconds.
Should also give a little shout out there to the dutiful extras having to play fight in complete silence in the background. Like they're at a silent disco or something. Like it's just, just pretend you're having a fight, but don't say anything. Don't make any noise and stuff. So that must have been, I'm sure that probably happens on sets a lot, but it just seems like that would be really weird where like, shh, these people are doing their dialogue. So in the background, you're like,
yeah, you'd be making little noises under your breath.
To imagine even like in Lord of the Rings and stuff, it's like, oh yeah, those battle scenes. It's like, no, as much noise as you goddamn want. It's like, it's a battle, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, go for it. They redubbed all the noise for most stuff anyway.
Yeah, I could imagine that.
Although I feel a little bit devastated for like some of the people doing the stunts because in the making of book, they're very proud of this scene, but the thing they're proud of is cut out. Like they're talking about like, oh yeah, we have a great joke where Batman's fighting, and at one point he politely asks a waitress for her tray. And then a guy goes to punch him, and he puts up the tray, and the guy hits his hand off it, and he goes, ah! And then later on, that same thug tries to pull the same trick on Batman, and Batman punches him through the tray.
And we just have the punchline and not the setup.
Yeah, they just have like, oh, they're very proud, like, oh, this is a great joke we thought of. And now it's just like, oh, that's half it. Yeah, there's half the jokes there, I guess. It's like, well, where's the rest of it? We talked about it in the making of book. You can't not have it in the movie. Like, we needed those precious seconds, I guess. Like, why would you take it out?
Every second counts.
How long is this movie? What's the runtime?
I think like 2 hours and 6. Or
yeah,
2 hours or 5.
We discovered recently that they're basically all the same kind of runtime.
Yeah. Some shock. I don't know if it's like a contractual thing with Warner Brothers. Like, it gotta be over 2 hours. We're not investing money in a Batman movie if it's not over 2 hours.
When you think about it, though, isn't that pretty crazy? Like your big blockbuster camp silly Batman movies over 2 hours long. You'd think you want to keep that to like 1 hour 45, something like that.
Yeah, like this movie probably could have been 90 minutes and it would have been a tighter movie and maybe it wouldn't be as derided as it is.
Yeah, it might have helped. It really might have. And, you know, I like everything in it, but most people don't. So.
I think, speaking to people this season, too, I think people just kind of get winded midway through. Yeah. Like, I find it, like, it's easy enough watching it minute by minute, but, like, to actually sit down and watch it beginning to end, there is a kind of there's a wave that breaks where you're like, this is all fun. And I guess to a point of like, oh my God, there's still so much left of this thing. But, you know, if it had been shaved down 20 minutes or half an hour, it could be, people would be much more lighter on it. And it's like, oh yeah, well, you know, to quote Bernard Black, you know, it's terrible, but at least it's short. So.
Well, yeah, it's right. Yeah.
But we'll say though, apparently George Clooney did ad-lib that good night, and I am personally offended and disappointed now that he didn't say good night and good luck, because of course George Clooney directed the movie Good Night and Good Luck a couple of years later.
Yeah, later.
People haven't seen it.
That's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even his dad was a news guy. He obviously had Edward R. Murrow in his blood. That's why he made the movie, because he was just a big fan of the American newscasters and whatnot. So he should have been there going good night and good luck. Or maybe he did say good night and good luck, and they cut that out as well.
Maybe.
It's like, you know what makes things even better? When you half them. That's the way. This movie was originally 4 hours long.
The entire other 2 hours is just Arnie making jokes.
Why not? He does another good one here, just as he's about to leave with the diamonds. He has to get one more pun in. Cool party.
I think you've been very generous with the word good.
There is no such thing as a clever pun.
Yeah, they've got to be stupid, right?
Yeah.
But like some of the ones he does though are like, oh, that's actually pretty funny.
Cool party's funny.
Cool party. I mean, he's just like, we couldn't think of anything else, but he has to say something.
But it's a cool party.
I've always been a fan of Ice to Meet You.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one though. I don't think he says that in the movie. That's the one. That's like the McBain Simpsons spoof would say that. But it's almost as if they knew, like, the Simpsons already did it, so we can have him say literally every other ice pun under the sun, but he can't say ice to see you. He can say, all right, everyone chill several times. But...
Well, nothing beats cool party, because it was a pretty cool party. Let's be honest, he's not lying.
Oh, fair, yeah. Actually, maybe it's like, I'm not even making a pun.
It's a cool party.
I'm just saying, like, I've seen those gorillas. The friggin' the weird culturally appropriated dance he had going on. The friggin' some of these people's outfits are great. This is a pretty cool party.
I love as well what we get at the very end, because, you know, off he goes with the diamonds. He's done it. Yay. And what I do like is Batman and Robin's expression, because they look genuinely shocked. Like, for the first time possibly ever, they don't know what to do. Like, is it the shock of everything happening? Or is it still like Ivy's magic at play, you know, clouding their minds a little bit, making them less effective? Because they look genuinely like, what do we do?
It might also be the fact that they set this up. Like, they were luring Freeze here. Yeah. And it's almost as if this was a bad idea. Like,
wow.
A room full of people just to bring in this guy to wreck this charity ball.
To kill hundreds.
Yeah. Is the money still going to charity now? Is the whole thing called off? Like, what's happening here? And it's like, oh, yeah, I guess maybe we should have thought up a better plan than this. Maybe you could have put it in an empty, like, oh, the Heart of Isis is now in this empty museum. Why not? Nobody
wink.
Comes to see it at night, you know. Why not go there? But
right. Bruce Wayne will just write a check and cover it all.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He can fix it all.
It's just like, oh, you know, send a ham to the widows as well. Oh no, we thawed them all, Batman. Oh, good. Cancel the ham. But speaking of ham, though, again, Arnie's giggle at the tail end.
Love it.
When he's just a shot of him sitting in the tank, just like, it's like
he's loving it.
He's having a great time. It's like, I'm enjoying it because he's enjoying it so much.
This tank, like, this vehicle just looks like an 8-year-old drew it, but I love it.
To be fair, I would not be surprised if it were just like one of the design people was like, "Hey, kid, you want to make a buck? It's like, draw me a freeze tank." And they're like, and they just looked at like a croissant or something, and they're like, chop that in two. Bunch of spikes. The spikes are cool. Put spikes in the front. Like, great. Yep.
It
perfect.
does remind me a little bit of Homer when he designed the new power plant. And he just put like racing stripes.
Fins on it. Yeah,
yeah, and
fins and racing stripes.
It's like, can you explain your freeze tank, Mr. Freezing? Well, I thought that this racing stripe looked quite fetching.
And spikes are pretty cool.
I thought you were going to say when Homer designed the car.
Yeah. As soon as I said it, I was like, I know they're going to mention the car.
That's the thing, though. I don't know if it's a popular or unpopular opinion. I thought Homer's car looked pretty awesome.
I'd drive it. Yeah.
Like two domes. It looked so kitschy 60s futuristic.
Yeah,
I love retro future stuff. Yeah, give me that.
Sadly, the general public don't think like us three.
I think that might have been if I were a rich guy, I would actually be like, you know what, make me the car.
Yeah.
Let's go out and pay whatever image rights you need to cover, or whoever writer thought up or artist drew it or whatever. Pay them off and build me that car.
If I win the lottery this week, Niall, I will buy you that car.
Don't forget it has to have 4 horns.
Of course.
And they all should pay La Cucaracha. So. It's a lot of Simpsons jokes this episode. But yeah, that was minute 48. I'm to double check there. Does anyone else have anything else they want to talk about for minute 48?
That's all my main notes, because the draft script, it's all exactly the same. There's no changes.
Oh.
So it's been a while since I've seen this movie, but like I actually really appreciate how bright all the colors are.
Yeah.
Because like I'm so used to like Batman being associated with such gloomy color palettes, and this movie is so bright.
Yeah, I absolutely love that fact about it. It's bold, it pops, like it's dark, but when there's color, you're getting color in your face.
Yeah, they do a great mix of like the dark shadows with bright comic book colors. I know Schumacher does get a lot of stick for his aesthetics, but it's like it looks great. Beyond some of the costume choices, very few complaints about the way his movies look. So it's.
And I think the framing of some of the shots in this minute is really good. I like the Batman and Robin with like the eyes behind them before we shift to the shot of the freeze tank coming through.
Yes, the thing where I'm sure Matt Reeves will have some great visuals in his Batman movie, but again, looking at the trailer, it's like, oh, that's dark.
Yeah,
right.
Like the bat symbol on the chest is made out of the gun that shot his parents or whatever.
Yeah. But even just like when they're like, oh, here now you get to see Batman. It's like, is that him? Like I can barely see the guy.
Yeah. I'm curious. I'm sure Robert Pattinson will do a great job.
Oh, I'm absolutely positive.
Definitely.
He'll be great. We'll say though, actually, now that you pointed out too, Norm, those eyes behind Batman and Robin, they actually look weirdly like, remember when they did the animated series revamp and they redesigned all the characters and they had the Joker come in with weird like triangle eyes that were pure black except like a white dot in the center? It kind of looks like that. I don't know if that's like, maybe they're like the people making the show were watching this and like, you know what? That ain't a bad look. Maybe we'll swipe that.
Maybe. And then it just ends with Arnie's giggle. Just right after that.
Anytime we can end on an Arnie giggle, I'm happy.
Yeah. This is the little wave he's about to do too. It's like, oh my God, great. It's like, see ya.
Have a nice life.
That would have been better than Cool Party.
No, Cool
like,
Party's
right
the best. Screw you.
An ice out. But because, though, Norm, that Batman and Robin is, of course, either reviled or revered as one of the worst films ever made, we are asking the guests this season what they believe the worst film they've ever seen is. Do you have one that you would be able to throw up in the docket?
I do. So me and my sister and her husband all share a birthday. I'm a twin, and she married a man that has the same birthday as us. And on our birthday, we go around to get like free stuff in different places, and one of them is a movie theater. So we decided that because it's free anyway, we just want to watch whatever looks like the worst movie playing at the time for free, just to make fun of it. And I think the worst movie I've ever seen in a theater is Identity Theft, starring Jason Bateman and Melissa McCarthy.
Okay. That's a different one. I like it.
That movie is terrible.
Jason Bateman. He's
I
always
want
a guy.
to like you, Jason Bateman.
Yeah.
Why do you keep being in terrible things?
That's just like also too like Melissa McCarthy is like, oh yeah, occasionally she can knock it out of the park, usually with more dramatic stuff. But
Yeah.
people keep pointing out too. I'm not actually too sure if Identity Theft is one of them, but she has a thing with she's married to a guy who writes and directs a lot of these movies. So that superhero one she did with Octavia Spencer that was on Netflix. It's written and directed, I think, by her husband, and they've like a clear list of terrible movies that she's made that her husband is all behind. Every time she does something that he's not involved with, it's usually much better. So I don't know if it's just her, but like, don't worry, honey, I'll star in your movie for you. Or, like, what the hell the deal
Doing
is
him
there?
a favor.
Yeah,
Right.
pretty much. But the thing, I've never actually watched Identity. Oh, it's Identity Theft or Identity Thief. I can never remember.
I think it's Maybe it's Identity Thief. I don't remember. I just remember I saw that movie and it was wretched. I just
You never want to remember it again.
yeah.
But I don't think it was like looked it up quickly there. It says apparently John August, who wrote Tim Burton's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, wrote it apparently.
Oh, that's a shame.
And he also did a crack at the Catwoman movie. But
That's a
that
shame.
turned out great.
What a track record.
Yeah. But also though, Norm, to go into more positive notes, we're also asking guests, because Batman Robin is also beloved by many people, if you have a film that is regarded as being atrocious by the general public, but you yourself will defend to the death.
Let's see. I'm just like generally a fan of a lot of bad movies. The thing is, like, I don't always know if something that I'm really into that's like older is something that people don't like. But a movie that I don't think is technically very good that I love is The Warriors.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. I love it.
Mm. Oh yeah, The Warriors is like, it's kind of like instant classic to me. In my mind, it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah, but it is like a weird campy thing. Like if I mentioned that movie to, like, let's say people I work with, they'd be like, what? They wouldn't even remember it.
Yeah.
Like it had some impact on stuff. Like I think it's a cult classic, but I think it's not actually like that well regarded by people.
Yeah. It's definitely a cult kind of thing. I can, even though it's a completely different type of movie, I consider it in the vein of like a Rocky Horror.
Yeah, like I think it's kind of got that same like underground fan base.
Yeah.
Rocky Horror just like eventually became part of pop culture at large. Like I guess like another movie is like Dragon Slayer. I don't know if either of you have seen that.
Oh, I know the one. I haven't seen it, but I know which one you mean. Yeah.
It's like from the 80s. It's that 80s PG. And it's just got like kind of not great special effects and is like a really formulaic movie, but I've always loved it.
That's the thing. Oh, it's the one with Peter McNichol, the freaking John Cage from Ally McBeal. That's Dragon Slayer, right?
I think so. Yes, Peter McNichol. Yep.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I think I saw it when I was a kid. I don't remember much about it, but maybe it's something I should be seeking out.
It's from 1981.
But yeah, so has anyone got anything else to say before we depart? Minute 48.
No, I'm all noted out and whatnot. We will head off into the dark night. Norm, would you like to tell people where you can be found online or promote your wonderful show that we've mentioned already?
Yeah, so if you want to listen to the backlog of Lord of the Rings Minute, you can find it at lordoftheringsminute.com or duelinggenre.com and check that out. We did all 640 or 50 minutes or so of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, extended editions, 1 minute at a time. And nowadays, we are releasing some coverage of the Hobbit trilogy 1 hour at a time on the Dueling Genre Patreon.
That's probably the best way to do The Hobbit.
It's not even like a half hour. It's like, no, a full hour. We're not bringing it down any smaller than that.
I get it. Oh, well, do check that out, everybody. All wonderful, wonderful stuff. And come and check all of our stuff out as usual. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just look up Bat Minute. And most importantly, come to our Patreon, the Sleepy Charlie Media Patreon, where for next to nothing, you can get bonus episodes of me and Niall talking nonsense about comic books and doing commentary tracks for movies like The Terminator, which have nothing to do with Batman.
Well, but Arnold Schwarzenegger, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, as a film, it has nothing to do. But we don't care anyway because we like it. So we'll see you again next time for more Bat Minute and Robin.
Next time, sowing some sexy seeds, freeze fleas in his frosty machine to lustful looks from a lady in green. But as our pursuing paladins help those in distress, will a twinkle from the toxic temptress place one hero's hormones under duress? For more discussions on discreet seduction, tune in next week. Different Bat Minute, same Bat production.
We'll be back.